Hello, everyone. Welcome to this closing press conference for the Canada CARICOM Summit. I'm very happy to be here with the acting chair for this purposes of today of the CARICOM Canada of CARICOM, Prime Minister Ali. Irfan is stepping in because Roosevelt Skerrit is home in Dominica right now with a terrible storm bearing down that he needed to be there for. We're also joined by Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, who is glad to participate as well in this closing press conference. I want to recognize the SG of CARICOM, Carla Burnett. Thank you very much for all your leadership through this important and historic meeting. Cette semaine, on a tenu un sommet.
This week we had a summit with CARICOM, with the Caribbean community. We took advantage of this to launch the new strategic partnership with Canada and the Caribbean islands. This is going to make our relationship stronger, and it's going to help us work on our shared priorities.
The first ever in Canada CARICOM Canada Summit. It's always better to see each other face to face, especially when we have so many important issues to tackle, like creating good jobs, making life more affordable, growing the middle class, fighting climate change, and keeping people safe. I want to thank all the leaders who visited us this week. Thank you for being true partners. Thank you for your engagement. And thank you for being such strong voices for your region and your hemisphere. We're holding this summit this week at a time of great turbulence. The conflict in the Middle East is reverberating around the world. Russia's war in Ukraine continues to rage on. Conditions in Haiti remain heartbreaking. Our citizens are living the devastating realities of climate crisis, whether that's wildfires in Canada or hurricanes and rising sea levels across the Caribbean. We're facing supply chain issues, global inflation, food insecurity. So in times like these, it is so important that we strengthen our relationship with friends and like-minded partners. Le Canada et les membres de la CARICOM.
Canada and CARICOM members are countries with diverse community. We believe in democracy and the rule of law. We know that working together, we can find solutions that lead to security and prosperity.
We need to cooperate and discuss regional and global challenges, including and especially Haiti, but also Venezuela and the Middle East. The ties between Canadian and Caribbean communities, businesses, and people run deep, and we're making these ties even stronger. Yesterday, we focused on many priorities. Not only did we talk about fighting climate change, but we also talked about how protecting the environment is good for our economies. I announced a new commitment of up to $58.5 million in partnership with the Caribbean Development Bank to support renewable energy projects in the region, and $6 million through the Caribbean Climate Smart Fund for resilient and renewable energy systems. Clean, reliable, affordable energy is a great example of how climate action and economic growth can and must go together.
Yesterday, we also talked about ways of increasing the resilience of our countries with respect to natural disasters that are stronger and more frequent because of climate change. We announced that we're going to enhance coordination between the Canadian Armed Forces and the Agency of the Management of Disasters in the Caribbean so that we can quickly react to natural disasters.
Canada can continue to help reforming the international financing architecture so that developing and middle-income countries can access the financing they need. We also announced that Canada is expanding the Commonwealth Caribbean Countries Tariff Program, which gives countries in the region duty-free access to the Canadian market. And we talked about our commitment to implement a new foreign labor program for agriculture and fish processing under our temporary foreign workers program. Évidemment, dans plusieurs de nos...
In many of our meetings, we also talked about the issue of security in our regions, especially in Haiti. I talked about measures yesterday to help the Haitian people fight against violence and corruption. Since 2022, Canada has been committed to giving over $300 million in aid international aid to address the Haitian crisis. We also sanctioned 28 people and provide technical and technical assistance to the Haitian police. And we will continue to be there to support the people of Haiti.
Continue to work together as partners to build a more stable, secure, and prosperous hemisphere. Thank you. I'm happy to pass it over to President Ali of Guyana. It was such a pleasure to see you and all of our colleagues here at CARICOM this week, but lots more to do, lots of positive momentum, and I look forward to it, not just in Trinidad and in Guyana, but right across the Caribbean. Irfan.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister Trudeau. I'm here with my friend, Prime Minister Rowley. You know, in cricket, we have opening batsmen, so we're opening the batting here. First, allow me to thank Prime Minister and the people of Canada for the enormous welcome they gave us and the great summit that was organized here between Canada and CARICOM. I must also take this opportunity to thank the CARICOM Secretariat and the joint team here in Canada that worked tremendously hard in putting together this summit and working so seamlessly together in ensuring the success of this summit. I want to say that we were very pleased at the outcome of this summit. We spent a lot of time together creating a framework and an ecosystem to support investment, partnership, especially with the private sector, and discussing issues surrounding an enabling policy environment that will support the aspirations of both Canada and CARICOM. Also, we discuss supporting mechanism that Canada can help the region with in creating an environment that will support financial system reforms, the climate agenda and COP28, the priorities that Canada and CARICOM share and how we can advance those priorities, food security, development financing, regional transport and logistics, and an enhanced facilitation in the movement of people between Canada and CARICOM. These were some of the key issues that we discussed. Of course, sustainable energy security, creating a balance between climate and energy needs of Canada, the region, and the world. And importantly, technology and innovation. How do we ensure a seamless transfer of innovation and technology from Canada and that can support the development of the region? If I may wrap things up in three phrases, this summit definitely built our trust, deepened our friendship, and expanded relationship. And one of the important attributes of the summit itself was the involvement of the private sector. In closing, I want to thank our High Commissions here in Canada and Canadian High Commissions in our different countries. The High Commissioners, I think, and their staff also work in a very strong way to support and ensure the success of this conference. Prime Minister Rowley, please.
Thank you very much, my colleague. I would just like, on behalf of Trinidad and Tobago and the rest of my Caribbean colleagues, to thank Prime Minister Trudeau and his executive team for extending to us the well-known traditional Canadian hospitality. The arrangements for hosting us here have been absolutely fantastic. We brought you half a day of sunshine, and we trust that you will come and get the rest in the Caribbean. But ladies and gentlemen, what we have done here ought not to be sneezed at. The Caribbean islands and Canada, we have a legacy that we ought not to take lightly. In troubled times like these, it is imperative that we acknowledge who we are and also agree that we are stronger together. CARICOM is a group of island nations facing the hostilities of the world. We believe that we are stronger together, standing and speaking as CARICOM. But with Canada, we are also stronger together in the international community. The challenges that we face now, some are unique, some are normal, as you might say, But even if we want to walk away, as I told Prime Minister Trudeau a moment ago, even if we want to disregard the legacy of our history, our diaspora won't let us. So it's important for us to use what we have, which is that common sense of purpose, our Commonwealth commitment, our belief in democracy, and the decency of the human being. Today, we've spent some time with you, and we've found a lot of common ground. And I trust that as we go forward, that this will not be the last occasion. As a matter of fact, Trinidad and Tobago would want to suggest that this event should take place at least on a biannual basis, so that we can ensure that our common interest is not left behind. We found common ground with respect to Canada's strength that can be made available to us in the region on the issue of regional security, national safety and security, providing of equipment which we find difficult in the region, standing with us and voicing our concerns about being disregarded in the international community of financing response to climate change, standing in defense with us, where only this week we're reporting that 2 of our CARICOM nations have found themselves being excluded from the international banking community and all the trouble that means, and standing with us in taking common positions on matters, even if the troubles are far away, the effects are close to us, like the Middle East, and of course, coming out of the COVID experience. So there's a lot that Trinidad and Tobago and the CARICOM and Canada have in common, and we intend to ensure that our strengths work for us and that we remain not just friends, but brothers of the North and brothers of the Caribbean, the zone of peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We will now start with the press conference. Nous allons maintenant commencer avec les périodes des questions. La première.
So there will be a question period. Valérie Gamache. Well, you didn't talk about the hospital in Gaza. Do you believe the Israeli version? And will you visit Israel like your colleague, Mr. Joe Biden? Well, first of all, we are absolutely horrified by the impact, by the loss of innocent lives in Gaza. Civilians who are innocent should never, never be attacked. International law has to be respected in all cases. We are now working with our allies to determine exactly what happened. Now, with respect to the region, I've been there on several occasions, and we will see what happens next.
By the attacks by the destruction of the hospital in Gaza. Civilian life must always be protected, and international and humanitarian law must always be respected. We are working closely with allies to determine exactly what happened. In regards to visiting the region, I have been many times, and I look forward to the next opportunity to go where we can actually be helpful and push towards peace and stability in the region.
Well, the evidence that was shown to the American president, and we understand that your embassy, your ambassador, was shown the same evidence. What did you think of these pieces of evidence? Well, we know that it's a situation that does not deal only with what's happening over there. There are families, there are communities here in Canada that are personally affected in an intensive way by what happened over there. So we can be all convinced and united about the fact that never should this have taken place in a hospital full of innocent people. And this is exactly, well, we saw some preliminary evidence, some preliminary elements, but we will keep working with our allies as quickly as possible before reaching any firm and final conclusion.
with this horrific situation in the Middle East is that it's not just happening over there. It's having an impact, a deep, direct, personal impact on individuals, on families, on communities here in Canada. Everyone is in agreement that the deaths of innocents in that hospital in Gaza never should have happened. But we are taking the necessary time to look carefully at everything, and rapidly, of course, before we draw any final conclusions about what happened. We are taking this extremely seriously because of all the intensity with which people are living this horrific loss of life.
The next question goes to Valerio St. Louis from Voice of America.
Premier Ministre Trudeau, I'll ask a question in French, if you may. And it's about Haiti. Le CARICOM
and Canada have discussed the security situation in Haiti, and there are sanctions against people in Haiti who would be involved in supporting gangs. But are these sanctions really efficient? Do you have results? And if so, how can you tell the Asian people that they are successful? Nobody has been arrested and people are freely roaming. Well, first of all, 28 sanctions have been imposed with respect to the present situation of security in Haiti, and we keep putting pressure on the politicians, on the oligarchs in Haiti to make sure that they are accountable. And we are working with the Americans, with other people, to make sure that everybody makes an effort. So we will keep our efforts in order to help with military investments, with the training and resources available for Asian police forces. But we also need a political commitment in order to reach a consensus so that any international assistance can be really implemented to put an end to this terrible situation.
And perhaps turn the question to my CARICOM colleagues as well. Canada has stepped up on sanctions. We've sanctioned 28 individuals in Haiti who we feel are contributing significantly to the current instability and horrific security situation that the Haitian people are suffering through right now. We have been putting pressure on the UN, on the United States, on our European colleagues to meet us where we are with sanctions, because we know that there are elites and oligarchs and even political to the instability, financing gangs, supporting this ongoing security and humanitarian crisis. We are working closely with CARICOM to ensure a process that will build the kind of political consensus necessary to go hand in hand with either intervention or support for the police or more humanitarian aid. We know that in this crisis, the Haitian people need to be a core part of it, and they will. Irfan, I know you do have I have to catch a flight. You have to catch a flight, so you will leave me in Keith's capable hands. Absolutely. But this is something we're going to continue to work on all together. The question was around sanctions and the situation in Haiti.
Well, I think we're all familiar with the crisis that's existing in Haiti, but where we are at the moment is that we in the Caribbean, in CARICOM, we don't have the resources that are required. And that is why Canada's presence is so important, and a commitment to ensuring that the people of Haiti are given an opportunity to get out of the current predicament is an international priority. We've got the UN resolution, and we anticipate that there'll be some transitional arrangements to afford the intervention of assistance that the people of Haiti so desperately need.
Je rebondirai sur la question des sanctions. I'll ask you how efficient, of course, I did ask that, but how you base those sanctions on what exactly? Les sanctions sont basées sur quoi? Certaines personnes pensent que
Some people are being sanctioned, but what is the basis? The previous Prime Minister, Laurent Abbott, might have prosecuted the Canadian government because, again, these sanctions are based on false news. Listen, for 30 years now, Canada has been there to help the Haitian people. We've been building hospitals, we've been helping the safety situation, we've been assisting police forces, we've been there to assist the Haitian people, and we will stay there. The international community has been there also. Unfortunately, during these 30 years, it has been impossible to solve the problem. And the reality, it's not up to the international community to find a solution for Haiti. It has to be, in order for this solution to be sustainable, it has to be a Haitian solution. They are at the very center. The people in Haiti are at the heart of their future, of their prosperity. They have to rebuild this great treasury in the Caribbean. Unfortunately, members of the elite in business, in government, in various wealthy families, oligarchs, for years, if not for decades, these people have been undermining the very stability of any progress, of any stability for the Haitian people. So we won't repeat the same mistakes. We have, first of all, to put directly those who are responsible for the present situation, for this crisis. We have to put them in front of the international community to be accountable. We will be there, always there for the Haitian people, but the elite has, and the political people have to assume their responsibilities toward the Haitian people and not only toward their own well-being.
Also on Haiti, and please repeat in French after. Your office made the point yesterday about, quote, the urgent need for a power-sharing agreement between Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry and opposition groups. So my question is for both Prime Ministers here today, if you got Mr. Henry to budge at all on that, and if he's becoming a burden to establishing stability in Haiti.
There is no question that in order for there to be a path forward on solving the security situation, on creating a path towards new elections and creating and restoring strength to institutions, whether it be the Haitian National Police or various judicial or governmental institutions, the Haitian political class needs to be part of that solution. Right now, there's not even a consensus amongst the Haitian political class on whether or not someone should step in to stop people from being killed, murdered, and raped in the streets of Port-au-Prince. We know, and we have said, the international community, including Canada and the CARICOM, are there to help. But there has to be a willingness, clearly expressed and articulated by the Haitian political class, that this is the right thing. How they work out that consensus, how they establish it, will be very much something that we are actively helping in building that political consensus. The CARICOM initiative around gathering all the different parties together to figure out a path forward is extraordinarily important, and there'll be another visit later this month. But those two things need to go together. Establishing security and stability and establishing a pathway to prosperity and to a stable future need to happen at the same time, and that's what we've been pushing on.
There's a danger as we accept what is what exists in Haiti today, that as we attempt to provide help for the Haitian people, that help is not viewed as supporting a minority governmental arrangement. One has to remember that as we speak, if my memory serves me right, there isn't a single elected official in Haiti. And as we look at the crisis and we advocate for an intervention of assistance, that assistance be seen coming from honest brokers and not, in fact, propping up what exists in perpetuity. That in itself poses a danger.
And I did have another question, but just if we could hear you in French, Prime Minister Trudeau.
I already answered in Haiti in French a couple of times.
Well, I mean, it was a different question, though. It was.
But it was the same answer.
Okay. My next question is on India. How many Canadian diplomats have left India after the Indian government ordered dozens to leave by October 10th, and what communication have you had since that date with the Indian government? Is there any pushback on the part of Canada?
We have been continually engaged in diplomacy and in dialogue with the Indian government. This is a serious matter that we are taking extremely seriously. And I know Minister Joly will have a press avail and an announcement to make in the coming hours. Okay. Nous sommes engagés.
So we are committed in a continuous way with the Indian government on this very important issue. And I can say that Minister Joly will have a press point in an announcement to make in the hours to come.
Mr. Prime Minister, in your view, how do you think this summit went?
This was an outstanding opportunity to gather amongst friends and partners to talk about the challenges that the world is facing, like climate change, like geopolitical instability, like the need for better flow of financing, to talk about the challenges the region is facing, whether it's needs for climate resilient infrastructure, a need for investment in trade infrastructure, need for investment in innovation and clean energy solutions. And it was also an opportunity to talk amongst friends about the values that drive us forward and the connections between partners in this region. We have had a very, very successful 3 days of conversations, but more than that, we're coming out of this with a concrete plan of action to continue to harness the opportunities and the potential of the friendship between Canada and the Caribbean and our mutual interest in moving forward in the right way together.
Thank you. And my second question would be, how can Canada help the CARICOM nations to be more self-sufficient?
Actually, I want to turn over to Keith first for that one, and then I will follow up.
Well, in the Caribbean, we are not without some resources and not without ambition. And we have been strengthening our economy, and that will allow us to make full use of any additional resources that Canada provides us with. And those resources are not only in dollars and cents. Speaking in the international marketplace and influencing the conversation and the decisions that affect us. Because one of the things that affect us are arbitrary decision making. And I might go as far as to say disrespect for our interest. So if we do have help in making our case at the appropriate forum, not the least of which are the ones that you're accustomed to, the Bretton Woods institutions, who look out for us, then we can benefit from a lot of what Canada can say for us and with us, because we share these common values. And of course, in the area of actual resources, like in training, in helping us to maximize what efforts we make, we can benefit tremendously from being together with Canada.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gould.
Thank you very much.
Great to see you.